So our next topic is town planning. Okay, the city of Ur was divided into three main areas. So city was divided into three main areas. They are sacred, world, and the outer towns. Okay, and the sacred area consists of a massive step pyramid structure called ziggurat, and in the sacred areas there was some pyramid like structure. They are called as ziggurat. And what was the ziggurat? That ziggurat was the chief temple of the principal god of the city. So this was the chief temples. Okay, and there were other smaller temples for other gods, and there was another some temples for the other gods, and scattered around the city, and they are situated scatteredly in the cities. The sacred areas also had the city storehouse and offices, and officials some houses, and the storehouses also was situated in sacred areas. The walled city, that means the second type of city, and the outer town were the main residential area, and the walled city means where which was the residential area, and the narrow streets of the city were lined with houses. And however, each house would face away from the streets, and each house would face away from the streets. Okay, and each house also had a central courtyard, and there was one kind of courtyard means that a vacant land in between the houses and with rooms surrounding it. That means in front of the house there was a vacant place, and in the surrounding part of this vacant place there was the houses. And next is agriculture. The Mesopotamians constructed the one of the world's first cities, Ur, due to the natural supply of muddy clay from the riverbanks and the rushes and reeds that grew in the marshes. And there was a river, and in the river banks there was various rushes and reeds, that means some forestry leaves trees, okay, that grew in the marshes, that means in the watery area. And Mesopotamian is initially built huts of reeds covered with a thick coating of mud. And however, the houses in the city were later constructed with sun-dried bricks. So they basically construct their houses with sun-dried bricks, whereas the temples and other public structure were built with baked bricks. Okay, so some houses was done by sun dried bricks, and basically the temples are built with baked bricks. And since the region did not have much wood and stone, the Mesopotamians constructed the world's first columns, arcs, and domes to hold up the weight of the roofs. Okay, and thus they contributed immensely to the field of architecture. So their architectural activity also good, and they can able to make these kinds of houses. And the Mesopotamian temples were multi-storied, and established embellished with precious stones, and there was the temples was decorated with precious stones and marbles. The town people also used the temples as schools, and some temples also used for the schools, observatories, storerooms, and trade centers. Next is social structure. Like most civilizations, Mesopotamia had a hierarchical society. So there was the hierarchy in society, and the society was broadly classified into three parts. One is upper class, next is middle class, and the third one is lower class. Upper class means nobility, that comprised the king, members of the royal family, priests, and high officials. They are under this upper class. The priest king was considered the representative of God on earth, and priest kings are nominated as a god on earth. Next is middle class. Middle class comprised farmers, artisans, and traders. They are under this middle class. Farmers, artisans, and traders. And most people were farmers who led a comfortable life due to flourishing agriculture. And when the agricultural activity was very good, and in that time these farmers was very flourished very comfortably. And lower class, that means slaves, comprised slaves who were prisoners of war, and slaves were traded well in Mesopotamia, and they could marry and have a family. The slaves, they have also family, and they also only do the all kinds of activity with the control. Those are controlled by upper class and middle class people. Next is family life. The Mesopotamian families followed the norms of the patriarchal society. There was the patriarchal society, that means the father was the head. It was a predominantly monogamous society, and the father was the head of the family. And however, the rights of women were safeguarded, and there are also some facility for the women. And women in Mesopotamia could go anywhere or do anything if they had their husband's permission. So the women can do any kind of things with the help of husband's permission. And boys were sent to school to gain education in reading, and boys were sent to school and writing and for the reading, writing and arithmetic, whereas girls were taught dance and music. Basically girls are engaged with taught dance and music. Next is occupation. The occupations of the Mesopotamians included agriculture, animal husbandry, and art and craft. So there was the occupation that basically they join with agricultural activity, animal husbandry, and various kind of handcraft things. And however, agriculture remained the core occupation, and agriculture was the main occupation of the people. Next is agriculture. The soil between the rivers Euphrates and Tigris was very fertile and suitable for all types of crops. So this Mesopotamian civilization and Mesopotamia place is situated in between two river Euphrates and Tigris. That's what this places was very fertile in nature, and that's what people can able to cultivate more crops from this field. And wheat and barley were the most important crops, and in these places wheat and barley was the most important crops. And they also grew various fruits. They also grew various fruits, vegetables, and pulses. And Mesopotamians were among the earliest cultivator of wheat, and Mesopotamians was the earliest cultivator of wheat because they at first cultivate the wheat. And irrigation was essential in the region due to irregular rainfall, and irrigation facility also was there, and farmers used canals and irrigation ditches for water supply, and they used various canals and ditches for water supply in the field. And they also built dikes to control the flooding, and they also used or built dikes for controlling the flood. And for increased productivity they invent ox drawn plows, and farming also brought people together. And for example, during the harvest season all people came together to gather the grains and store them efficiently. Next is domestication of animals. Animal husbandry involves domestication and care of animals. Domestication is the process of bringing animals and plants under human control. So one method was there, or tradition was there, domestication. That means they try to control the animals activity, and they kept their animals into their houses. And domestication is the process of bringing animals or plants under the human control. The Mesopotamians domesticated many farm animals such as cattle, sheep, and goats. Okay. Next is art and craft. The Mesopotamians were highly creative and industrious, and they developed specialized skills such as weaving, pottery, and sculpting. They also specialized in weaving, pottery, and sculpting. They used gold and lapis lazuli for jewelry and wood and reeds for furniture. The designs were intricate and beautiful. So they was also expert in the design. And the Mesopotamians were probably the first to use the potter's wheel. They at first used the potter's wheel, and a stone potter's wheel found at the city of Ur dates to about 3129 BCE. And the Mesopotamian people were also well acquainted with metallurgy, as they also used various kind of jewelry, and this is testified by the discovery of many metal objects, statues, and beautiful ornaments. And they also do various kind of they also made various kind of statues or beautiful ornaments and metal objects with various metals. Next is trade and commerce. Surplus agricultural produce led to the rise in trade and commerce between cities in Mesopotamia, and people bartered from farm processes for timber, stone, wine, and precious metals. Okay, people also bartered farm produces from timber, stone, wine, precious metals, these things. And archaeologists have discovered seals from Mesopotamia at Indus Valley sites, and archaeologists they also discovered various kind of seals from the Mesopotamian civilization. And similarly, seals from the Indus Valley have been found in Mesopotamia, and this shows that there was extensive trade between people of the two civilization. And archaeologists, they give us the information regarding the trade, that there was the trading activity in between two civilization, and finished products and gains were also exported to the Mediterranean countries and Egypt. They also sent their products into the Mediterranean countries and Egypt. And the Mesopotamians maintained records of their business dealing on clay tablets, and they recorded all the things in their clay tablets. Next is religion and culture. Each city in Mesopotamia had a patron god. The temple of the patron god was located at the center of the city. The patron god had the largest temple in city, and while there were smaller temple of the other gods throughout the city. So the largest city was the patron god, and the forces of nature such as the sun, rain, the moon and stars were also worshipped, and they also worship of sun, rain, the moon, stars, like this. And the gods were kept happy by various rituals and practices which were conducted by the priest, and this give rise to priestly class. And kings were considered the chief priest of the city, and king was considered or were considered as a chief priest. And discovery of artifacts like weapons, jewelry and vassals led to the conclusion that people of Mesopotamia believed in life after death. So they believed in life after death. Next is contribution to the modern world. So what was the contribution to the modern world? That Mesopotamia is widely considered to be the oldest civilization known as humankind. So this is one of the oldest civilization, and the modern world remains indebted to its varied contribution, which were primarily in the field of writing and lecture, science and mathematics, technology and law. So they contributed in these four fields. So first one is the writing and literature. The most significant contribution of the Mesopotamians to the modern world was the creation of a system of writing. So they create one system of writing by about 3200 BC, and they developed a script called cuneiform. So Mesopotamian people, they innovate one new system of writing which was called as cuneiform, and derived from the Latin word cuneus, which means wedges, and thus it is obvious that the style of cuneiform had a wedge-shaped style of writing. The Mesopotamians wrote on 8 clay tablets using a stylus in the left to right direction, and they need to write in their stylus from left to right. So they use the stylus for the writing. Okay, system of writing was the cuneiform, and they use the stylus for the writing, and they write from left to right direction. This stylus was made from reed or sometimes of metals, and the clay tablets was then baked in fire and hardened it, and each individual tablet was considered a page of the books, and several tablets together formed a book. A popular book from the Mesopotamian civilization is the Epic of Gilgamesh. This was a popular book in the time of Mesopotamian civilization, and which is believed to be used to teach value to children, and it was originally written on 12 clay tablets. So there was a 12 page, that means 12 clay tablets in cuneiform script. Okay, like this. And science and mathematics. The Mesopotamians invented the number system called sexagesimal, that which regarded the number 60 as supreme, and this how the division of time was based on the unit of 60, and they measured time by dividing each day into 2 halves of 12 hours each. Okay, so they use 2 halves of 12 hours each, and each hours was divided into 60 minutes, and each minute was divided into 60 seconds. So this sexagesimal method is invented by Mesopotamian people, and the Mesopotamian calendar comprised 12 months of a year and 7 days of a week. They were also proficient at astronomy and could correctly predict the eclipses. They also some people also proficient at astronomy, and they can predict the eclipses. They believe that if everything happened for the reason and related the cause to various omens. And Mesopotamian astronomy laid the foundation for much of the world's astronomy. Next one is technology and invention of wheel. Okay, although archaeologists are not sure which invented the wheel, the oldest wheel known was discovered in Mesopotamia. It dates to 3500 BC. In that time, Mesopotamia people they at first invent the wheel, and it is likely that Sumer first used the wheel in making pottery in 3500 BC and then used it for transport in around 3200 BC. These pottery wheels they at first used for the transportation purpose in the time of 3200 BC. Next was the law. The Mesopotamians were the first to develop a code of law that every citizen was expected to follow. So there were some rules and regulations. At first, these are regulated by the Mesopotamian people, and if a citizen failed to abide by the laws in this code of conduct, they were liable to face consequences. And King Hammurabi of Babylon had compiled the rules and laws of the city and written them on a stone slab. The eye of an eye philosophy was literally followed by Hammurabi. And for example, if a man had broken another man's bones, his bones would be broken too. So if a man had broken another man's bones, then his bones would be broken too. And code of Hammurabi comprised 282 such laws. So there was in total 282 laws, and such laws covering all aspects of life. So there was all kinds of punishment. Okay, list. So there was a list of punishment of any kind of unwanted activities. The next is decline of the civilization. By 2000 BC, the wonderful Mesopotamian civilization started to decline, and there are many factors that are attributed to its fall. And some historians observe that frequent flooding and faulty irrigation technologies led to a build-up of many mineral salts in the field over a long period of time, and this made the land infertile and unsuitable for crops, and forcing people to abandon the site and move elsewhere. It is also speculated that the river Euphrates changed its course, adversely affecting the Mesopotamian people. Historians also believe that wars were an important cause for the collapse. So historians believe that wars was also another cause of the collapsing of the civilization. And the last Sumerian dynasty fell in 2000 BC and followed by a period of chaos and confusion.